actually wrangling some Fox News people who are bugging a lot of people over at Penny Library. So. All right, 1 2 1 2. So, I think the mayor is going to be here at 10 to do a little media avail about the referendum. So we're going to do it here. If that's okay. At 10. Does that sound pretty good? I mean, it kind of depends on when we know or not. But it'll be. I'm going to put that on the site and just plan on that. Hey, Scott.
What's up?
We're just doing a mic test. Let me go get Mary Beth.
Does everybody have the cell phone if you need to get hold of Scott tonight? The media number that we have? I know I give it to a lot of people. I want to make sure if you need it, you need it.
Oh, I think, I'm not sure.
No problem. It's a 608.
Wait, is it this one?
Is it?
Oh,
Yes.
perfect, thank you so much.
Sorry, did you 608? Yeah, it's 608 658 0405.
It's Melanie Concord.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
it.
Oh, hi, how
Hi,
are
Melanie.
you? I've never seen you before, Lady Luck. It's nice meeting
Good to
you.
meet you too. Yeah. And does everybody have the press things? Looks like you all got out everybody that. They're very fancy and formal, but we do have a list too. So once the door locks, that'll get you in and out. Yeah.
Ready? Just remember to raise your hand when you want to ask a question so I can turn your mic on so the folks on the live stream can do it. All right.
Well, I can just give you some preliminary numbers from turnout in the city of Madison as of 4 p.m. We still have 37 outstanding wards that we still are trying to reach to find out their turnout. But with those 37 outstanding wards, that means we have numbers from about 100 wards, and we've had 85,656 votes cast. That includes 40,219 absentees processed so far. And as far as we know, we have 30 provisional ballots at this point.
I got off the phone, our Zoom call with the other clerks. They did not report any particular problems out in the county. Lines are not long. So we did have a report of a weather cell coming through the middle of the county. We're a little bit concerned about high winds and heavy rains. We've been fortunate that, folks have been inside and not lines outside for that, so that was good. I did want to sort of talk a little bit about the process for tonight. So the way we get results transmitted to us from around the county, from all the municipalities, all the wards, and then we post that as soon as we get it within a few minutes. So you'll see constantly updated results on our website. There is no faster way to get those results. I swear to God, there's no faster way to get that. So literally I look at it to get, so that's the fastest way to get it. It does include all of the ballots. So there aren't a second pot of absentees. The absentees and the in-person ballots are all tabulated together. Does that make sense? Everybody got that? It's the opposite of Milwaukee? Okay. There are no ballots here, so there's no camera shot of ballots being flipped through like Georgia or whatever. None of that exists here. So they're all being tabulated at the polling place. That's the shot of the ballots. Make sense? Okay. I think that was the main things I wanted to cover. I did want to mention that we had some additional security features, which, we didn't really use today, but for example, we had additional law enforcement out today, just in case. We had a bomb sweep of this building, so with dogs, so we knew that if we got a call, we'd know how to react to that. Just more security in the building, and so I appreciate it. I appreciate the help from our law enforcement and EMS partners. I'll stop there. Yes.
Miranda Davis, Bloomberg News. Earlier I spoke with the field office from the Milwaukee FBI, and they said that they are aware of several threats in Wisconsin to polling places. Do you know if any of those are in Dane County? Have you guys heard anything on that?
Well, I have not talked to any law enforcement here about a threat to a polling place, and there's been no responses to any place. I know there's been, I read the news like you guys, there's been situations around the country, but I've not had to deal with anything about that. I guess I don't really, there could be things I don't know much about, but no polling places have been affected. Nothing's happened here, is what I would say. Yes, sir.
This is for Clerk Witzel Bell, and this is Liam Barron with Isthmus. I want to see, do you know, in terms of the election officials working at polling places today, how much of their time is spent processing absentees versus helping voters who come to vote today?
I can't put that into a percentage, but
Okay.
I can tell you that we rotate all of our poll workers through tasks. So you may be the greeter for a while, and then you're working on registrations. Then you're moved to the poll book table, and then you're at the ballot table. You're processing absentees. Then you are back at the greeter station.
So it's throughout the day that,
Yes.
okay.
Anybody else?
Have you had to do a bomb sweep during past elections, or was this the first one?
We did that 4 years ago too. Yeah.
And then have you been in touch with other clerks around the state? Anything of note from them and how it's going?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't want to but it seems things are going pretty well around the state. I mean, I think Milwaukee's having some trouble with their central count, but that's the only thing I've heard about. Yeah.
And on that note, with Milwaukee, hi, Scott, sorry, Morgan from Care 11 in Minneapolis. Can you kind of explain the issue that they had and why they had to do this recount? It's something with the tabulators and a door being open, and they're doing this out of precaution, they said.
Yeah, without being there, I really don't want to talk about it, especially since we don't do central count. So then I'd be really stretching on what happened there. So I just don't feel comfortable commenting on it. Sorry, Morgan. Yeah.
Kind of on that note, do you guys use the same type of machines, do you know, by any chance?
So they use a higher, and this is true of almost every big city in the country. They use high-speed scanners that can do a whole lot of absentees. Cincinnati and all these places do this, right? They're big and they're fast and they have it at the central location, central count. We have all the absentees processed in the smaller amounts at each polling place for the appropriate. So if you cast an absentee ballot at Wanakee, that's where it's being opened and sent into the machine there. Those are all small DS200s. So we have no large machines. I guess I could have said that faster, but that's what's going on. Yeah.
This is for Mary Beth. With the duplicate ballot issue that happened a couple months ago, how many of those did you ultimately have returned?
I don't know. At each polling place, they'd be processing the absentees for those wards, and they would be absentees issued from that very first day we were issuing absentees through this past Sunday. But I don't have any numbers or breakdowns for you.
Thanks.
This is also for you, Mary Beth. Just going back to Miranda's first question, I had heard from a colleague that those bomb threats may have been to a couple Madison schools that weren't polling places. I don't know if you've heard any additional information about that, or if that's all, if you don't know anything.
I haven't heard of any problems at any polling place, and it seems like I've talked to most every chief inspector on the phone at least once today, and we've been communicating all day, and they've just been asking questions about processes and not reporting any real issues or problems that they're dealing with.
Yeah, good.
Madison's Dropbox is closed at 5 p.m. yesterday. Were you aware of any reports of anything going wrong with those returns, or have they all been fine so far?
What do you mean, anything going wrong with closing
there
the drop
been-
boxes, or?
Has there been anything like any errors or anything out of the ordinary with Dropbox returns?
No, they're just, voters return their absentee to the drop box, and every day that the drop boxes were open, 2 election officials would go to each drop box and secure those ballots and use a tamper evidence seal, document that on a chain of custody, and return it to clerk's office personnel, and we didn't have any issues with that.
And then could you
Lucas?
mentioned the turnout numbers. How does that compare to past years so far?
For us, for you, which is it? It's hard to tell. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't had time to even look at previous years, and we really can't compare anything to 2020 because of the pandemic, and so we really aren't in the habit of comparing numbers today to the last presidential election or even the presidential election before that, because absentee numbers changed so much during the pandemic.
Yeah, I agree with that. We don't really have a good comparable right now. So this might be a good comparable for next time. Honestly. Any other questions? Yeah.
In the municipal clerks and everybody you guys have been talking to, have you heard about any aggressive poll watchers or any issues like that at any of the polling places? Any complaints about any of the observers?
No, I asked and I heard nothing. And then I asked if anyone had seen one of the IDs that they talked about that would say interim on them, and no one had seen one of those. So that has not been an issue today. So that's great. Yeah.
Sorry, do you know how many observers are in Dane County?
We don't know right now. They should be recorded into the inspector statement, so someone could go through and count them all up, but we wouldn't have that number now.
Would you even have that number tonight?
No. I mean, I wouldn't have that number. But it could be in a place where you could count them up later. Because we try to post everything. Actually, I know we're all just looking for things to report on right now. So we post all the inspector statements online. We post as much as we can online. We're the only county in the state that will post every single ballot image online. So you can go through and click through them all and count it yourself to show that no one voted for you for alder. We try to be as transparent as possible. We do our own audits that are not required by law, publish those. So all of that will be available on our audit page, on the county page after this election. It takes a little while to do that, but that will all be there, and it's there for previous elections. So you can go look at it if you want. Great. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
And, the mayor will be here at 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit later to speak on the referendum, so tell your teams.